Hello everybody, in today's video I'm going to be focusing on all the changes to the divisions and what you should be using after the update. So to give you a layout of the video, I'm going to focus the first part of the video on breaking down the different changes to the divisions. I'm going to do that rather quickly so it doesn't take a ton of time. Then I'm going to talk about the changes to the create a class system so that you can be better prepared on how you're going to adjust your loadouts. And then so you can have your best class setups day one. So the first one we're going to look at is Infantry, and on the screen you can see all the different changes. I'm going to focus on the new things. So we're going to additional primary attachment that's going to swap from perk number 2. Second pistol attachment, swap weapons faster, that's from resistance level 3. While aiming down sights, have less idle sway, that's from a basic training called scope. And then move faster while aiming. So this one might be nerfed because you can see the red lines crossed out right there for significantly faster. We'll just have to see how that plays out. So some might need a test after the update. So the new created class is going to look something like this. And what you're going to see is that extra green box will be there, because you're going to have 4 attachments automatically with Infantry. We're going to get rid of that little bayonet, so that's not going to be there by default anymore. It's going to be an attachment. When you're reading it, it feels like they gave us primed automatically, but in reality they didn't. They just removed the attachment automatically so we can attach it if we want. So if you don't want to run that bayonet, you're going to essentially have an extra attachment. Since the Infantry level 2 gives you that extra attachment for your pistol, you're going to go ahead and see this extra box highlighted in green in the middle as well. And right at the bottom next to the lethal box, you're going to have a tactical, because part of the update is everyone's going to have a lethal and a tactical default for every class. So we'll go ahead and kind of see how that plays out, but this is the update for Infantry so far. Based off that, you're not going to have a significant change in your creative class for that one. It's just Infantry might not be as dominant because you don't have that extra ammo. And then we'll have to see how far that nerf goes on that significantly faster strafing part versus just strafing faster. Because the huge draw of Infantry was you had the real extra attachment with the bayonet already included, and then you already had the advanced strafing and then extra ammo, so you can actually go on these extra long streaks without picking up other people's guns. So pretty much the class setups are still going to be the same for this specific class, except for now you could probably put in some submachine guns because you can actually run suppressor with them now. So we'll go ahead and kind of see how that plays out. I'm going to give you some better class setups with the submachine guns once the update goes live. For Airborne, they made the SMG suppressor an attachment. You can see that there. And then they also eliminated the sprint for longer distances, because now everybody will have unlimited sprint. That's slightly slower than our normal sprint that we're used to, just to accelerate the pace of the game a little bit. You can see they've made some other changes. As far as firing gun while sprinting and diving, that's a basic training. As far as reloading while sprinting, another basic training that they merged with this. And then you have climb over objects faster and no fall damage. So they added that last part about the no fall damage, which was from a basic training, I believe. And then we also have sprint faster over time. So basically they just modified that. So the longer you're sprinting, you will accelerate. We'll have to see if there's a cap on how fast you can go. And right here you can see they made similar changes to the actual creative class system. You're going to have that extra attachment slot because now the suppressor is optional. It's not guaranteed mandatory. So you can actually swap out other guns as well. So if you wanted to run an AR with the bayonet, you have that option. Right here you don't get that extra pistol attachment because it's not included with this one. And then right at the bottom you are going to have that extra tactical. So you will have some flexibility with that. But as far as the creative class system, this one's going to be a significant difference just because you have that unlimited sprint. And you're going to be able to move faster, not worry about fall damage, so you can jump out of buildings and move real quick. And we'll see how effective this one is. But let's get into the more interesting changes, and that's to these next couple divisions. So overall, the armored division is probably one of the main divisions that got a huge buff all the way around. See, the LMG bipod is now default on any LMG, which will free up a creative class slot. As far as immune to shell shock and tactical equipment, that's still the slot number 2. But you can see for slot number 1, they combined armored 3 and 4, so you're going to take significantly less explosive and fire damage. So that's a huge buff there that combined it into 1. And number 3, you're going to see they added FMJ, so you're going to have increased bullet penetration, which is going to be awesome. Just intuitively, you're not going to have to waste an attachment on that. So that's another buff. And then it says greatly reduced flinch when shot. So that kind of stole half of the prime basic training, which they've removed from the game. So they're removing that completely from the game, and you're going to have that reduced flinch. So this is going to help you a lot in gunfights. So this one will probably be a top tier division, depending on how you can synergize the different weapons. Pretty sure this one's going to be a heavy favorite, but we'll just have to wait and see. So let's get on to the mountain division. But before we do that, if you are enjoying the video in any way, remember to click the like button. It does help the video. Go ahead and leave a comment down below what your favorite change is. And then go ahead and subscribe with notifications on if you haven't already. I do a lot of these breakdowns on the channel. This is the type of content you're interested in and learning more about creative class setups and tips and tricks on how to improve. This is the channel for you. So again, let's get into mountain. And looking at this one might be one of the most overpowered classes there is because all it got was buffs. So now sniper, sharpshooter, default for every sniper rifle. So regardless of what division you use that with, you're gonna be able to hold your breath, which is nice. That's like every other Call of Duty before. Now, perk number 1 is gonna be invisible to enemy, recon, and controlled streak. They combine 2 and 3, so that's 2 perks right there. Kill enemy death locations hidden. So it's like that extra perk that you got from Ghost 2 or something like that, Ghost Pro in a previous Call of Duty. No name or reticle change when your enemies aim at you. Another huge perk there. Still silent movement for number 4. So this one is going to synergize really well with those SMGs that don't need a bunch of attachments. Because you can actually have the suppressor. Like for the Type 100, you're going to have that extended mags and maybe rapid fire and suppressor. So this is, you're going to be completely silent on the map. You're going to be able to hear everything around you, sound whore. And you're going to be able to kill people. They won't know where you're killing people from. No reticle change. So in hardcore, it's going to be almost overpowered. Because it's not going to pop up, so you're not going to have the instinct if it's teammate, friend, or foe. This one is going to be real fun to use. Probably very hard to compete against. It's going to be fun. Now looking at Expeditionary, we can see that a lot's changed. Now that you can actually have those incendiary shells free up a spot. Now it's default that you're able to equip to any shotgun as an attachment. The same way we've done suppressor and rifle bayonet. So right here, so let's select a piece of equipment and lethal attachment. This one's buffed. And they basically combined number 2 and 3, as you can see now, is number 1. So double lethal and tacticals and enhanced equipment use. And that looks like the throw further faster while sprinting. So that's going to be equipped use. The munitions replenish where killed enemies and over time. This one's a huge buff to number 4. Because before it was through killed enemies. Now you can kind of camp and then they'll just replenish on their own. And then it keeps original values for this improved tacticals and easier to destroy buildables. So what I mean by keeps original values, what happens is they're nerfing tacticals to reduce their time and effectiveness. So this one is, if it's improved, it's going to keep that original value that we currently have now. Destroy war buildables, so that's going to be planting things on. It's going to take a little bit less time. So before it was, let's say, 6 seconds, now it'll be 5. I don't know the exact value because it wasn't stated. We'll have to see this one. Equipment damage paints enemies on the minimap. That's from basic training espionage. So that was damage in general, but this is specifically equipment damage. So if you put a bouncing Betty, now they're going to be lit up like a Christmas tree on your minimap. So this one's going to be, I think, the opposite of fun. I think it's going to be very annoying to deal with, but we'll just have to see how it plays out. When it comes to resistance, it's had a few changes as well. So right here you can see the pistol tactical knife has been completely removed. So what you're going to see that is the pistols will now have that attachment most likely. Which that might be able to synergize well with the mountain division since you'll be off the map, off the radar, hidden. You'll be able to, sound whore everybody. And you can see they moved that infantry division from this one to the infantry. So now we can see that they combine number 2 and 4 for the new number 1, so minimap indicator and scrambler of close hostiles. And then they added a couple new features, so enemy movement are easier to hear. We'll see how different audibly that is. Kills and assists grant intel ping of nearby enemies. They had something very similar in Infinite Warfare, so we'll kind of see how that ping works and how effective that is. Then easier to spot targets and increase minimap coverage. That sounds a lot like a basic training that we're all familiar with, hopefully, and that's Lookout. So that's some of the changes to this division. So let me go ahead and kind of break down some of the different things that you guys should be looking for when creating these new classes. So the number one thing you're going to want to realize is whatever classes you have been using as far as weapon loadout, that means when you select the weapon and then you select the attachments, everything will probably be pretty similar. So some of the changes that might happen is, for example, if you're going to be using armored, now that you have that bullet penetration through surfaces, maybe you don't run FMJ if you're already running FMJ. In my opinion, FMJ was always a wasted attachment. So this one that you get it by default might be nice, but in general, it might just be a wasted perk for armored. So we'll just have to kind of see how it plays out. I'm sure in certain maps it'll be more effective than others. Along with some of these tweaks to the divisions, there's been a lot of other underlying tweaks that they've added to the game. So for example, even though there's been a buff to the armor division where you take less damage, they changed the reduction from 65 reduction up to an 80 reduction. So in this particular case, if they're nerfing some of the lethals, you're going to get a combined net droppage of probably about 85%. So that means you might be able to take 2 nades before you die, but you'll still be one shot to take 2 nades. So there's different things we got to check out that make certain classes better than others. But if you've been using the STG with extended mags, rifled barrel, or advanced rifling rather, and high caliber, that's still going to be your go-to class. Except for now, you might have to debate putting the bayonet on and put some other attachment if you don't use the bayonet often. Same thing with SMGs. Now you'll have a slot. If you don't want to run a suppressor, you can actually have an extra attachment. So it just gave you some more flexibility to create a class system. It's not overhauling anything. I mean, I know there's a lot of changes with the divisions, but as far as the weapons and attachments, it's going to be very, very similar to what you've already been doing this entire time. If you have stuck around to the end of the video, I really appreciate that. Go ahead and make sure you click the like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Remember to do that. Turn notifications on. Follow me on Twitter at JGodGamingYT, and you'll be able to stay up to date with all my future content. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.